Just like we were talking about in the first etude, how important it is for the fuel to do its job so that your engine can do its job, I would encourage you to practice this etude completely glissed. Now, when we're talking about those 5 things that the air knows how to do, start, stop, increase, decrease, stay the same, we're talking about that last one, stay the same. So give me that premium fuel that moves through all of these notes. And one thing that I tell my students all the time, we do not apologize for being trombone players. Watch how my air is moving through all these notes, and I'm leaning on that exhalation. I would even encourage you to gliss through these next individual air vents, these 16th notes. Let that air carry you up to the top of this line. After I get used to leaning on my exhalation, that's when I can start paying attention to the more nuances of the air spectrum, where there are slurs, where there are individual air events. Now that we're used to relying upon the exhalation doing its job, to break the gliss, we're going to use what I call our ta-das and ahs, which means that we're going to place a ta articulation on the front note every single time. A da articulation is going to remove that slur, but I'm going to keep those natural slurs, and we're going to call those an ah. And so what happens is that when we use our ta-das and ahs, our air thinks that it's still glissing. So if we just take this opening 2 measures, watch how I will gliss, then I'll bring in my ta-das and ahs afterwards, but my air thinks it's doing the same thing, glissing. So there's a natural slur going between this G flat and this D flat and back up, and then this F to this E flat. So I'm going to keep those, but everything else is a gliss. So I'm going to put a da. So now our ta-das and ahs for this section are now going to be ta da 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 with my air. With my slide in my air. So now, if I play some gliss, and then I put my ta-das and ahs on top of that, they should sound almost identical, meaning that my air thinks that it's glissing both times, and therefore, I'm still relying upon the ease of that exhalation. Those 2 examples sounded almost identical, except the second one with the ta-das and ahs sounds cleaner. As you're practicing everything glissed, I encourage you pay close attention to where all those glisses are, because your ta-das and ahs will reveal themselves through that process. And now that you're used to relying upon your air, because you've glissed the entire thing, when you do go back to placing those individual air events, go ahead and make sure that you're placing a bullseye on every single one with the same energy and quality of air that you used in your gliss practice. Since we know whatever we put inside the instrument is what comes out, that's why it's a good idea to practice the air away from the instrument altogether. Now, when you do that, make sure that you have a lot of energy behind the air that you're moving. Make sure that you can hear the music that you are playing. And so if we take, for example, these last 3 measures, there's a lot of instructions on these 3 measures alone. So I'm going to make sure that I have a good slur from this B flat to this G flat, good individual air events as I climb to this G flat with a good crescendo, full slur down. Immediately, then I'm going to add in accents to my air, followed by another crescendo that's going to bring us down to a forzando D flat. And so if you can hear the music in my air when I put it on the trombone, you should also be able to hear that music as well. I really like this etude. I really love how beautiful and expressive it is and cantabile that it is, or singingly. And so I encourage you, as you're working on it, use this etude as an example to showcase how beautiful you sound, how expressive you can possibly sing through this instrument. Again, if you have any questions about anything that we talked about today, please feel free to get back to me at dwatt, that's D-W-A-T-T, the number 3, at uwyo.edu. I will get back to you. Happy practicing, and good luck.